We've got some concerning news regarding Cash Wheeler, as the reigning AEW World Tag Team Champion has been arrested. In a report from the Orlando Sentinel, it's revealed that Wheeler was taken into custody by the Orlando Police Department on Friday morning and is facing a charge of aggravated assault with a firearm. The Sentinel reports that Wheeler flashed a handgun at another person during a road rage incident on July 27th, and a warrant was issued the next day. Through a legal representative, Wheeler pled not guilty on August 3rd before turning himself in this week. This is clearly not what AEW wants, as the company prepares for its biggest ever event, and the promotion has issued the following statement. AEW has been made aware of the charge, and we are closely monitoring the situation. He is fully cooperating with local authorities. AEW has yet to give any clarification on what this means for All In, where FTR are supposed to face the Young Bucks in a match that's been promoted as the most significant tag match in a generation. Mike Johnson of PW Insider reports that Wheeler was not asked to surrender his passport, and no travel restrictions have been placed on him, so legally he can work the show, though AEW may still pull him. Florida's law categorizes aggravated assault as a third-degree felony that can result in up to 5 years imprisonment, a $5,000 fine, and/or probation, but there's no word on what could happen to the FTR member. Though this is Wheeler's first offense, it's been clarified by the firm Hansen Law that under Florida's laws, first-time offenders do often face jail time for the charge that has been leveled at the reigning AEW World Tag Team Champion. PW Insider reports that Cash Wheeler actually already appeared in court on August 3rd, where he pled not guilty to this aggravated assault with a firearm charge, so it's unclear as to what happened to escalate the situation, resulting in his arrest this week. What we do know is this situation wasn't known internally within AEW, as Nick Hausman reports that he couldn't find anyone in the company who was aware of what had happened. Both talent and management didn't know about the situation until Wheeler's arrest was made public knowledge, and for some, they only found out when Hausman himself asked about it. Hausman was not able to confirm whether Tony Khan, Dax Harwood, or CM Punk were aware of the incident, but the impression from sources close to the AEW president was that Khan was unaware. At this time, details are scarce as to what transpired and what this will mean for Wheeler both in the short and long term, but we'll continue to monitor this situation very closely. Over to SmackDown now, as this week's show was a celebration of 25 years of Edge, and the show featured several video packages showing the importance of the Rated R Superstar. Legends and superstars spoke at length about working with Edge, and this all built towards the Man of the Hour being in action in his native Toronto. Unsurprisingly, Edge earned a huge ovation from his hometown fans, and in something of a surprise, WWE leaned into reports that this could be Edge's final ever match. Multiple sources said prior to SmackDown that this could be Edge's final match, and we know from the man himself that this is the final match of his contract with WWE. If this is Edge's last match, both he and Sheamus gave an incredible performance in the ring and were allotted plenty of time in the main event spot, with Beth Phoenix watching at ringside. In the end, it was a spear that earned Edge an emotional victory in possibly his final match, and SmackDown went off the air with Edge and Sheamus hugging, and the crowd fully behind both men. It may seem odd for Edge's potential final match to happen on a random episode of SmackDown, but his career has been anything but conventional. And what did you think of the match? Was it a retirement-worthy encounter? Let us know in the comments. SmackDown may have featured Edge, but the Bloodline was almost entirely absent from this week's SmackDown, with the only member representing the faction being Paul Heyman. Earlier in the day, Heyman had been authorized to give an update on the Bloodline by Roman Reigns, but when Kayla Braxton asked about said update, Heyman refused to share it. The special counsel of the tribal chief would then take a phone call, and when the undeterred Braxton asked again, Heyman revealed that Jimmy Uso will be around on next week's show. One point that was made though is how would Heyman know that Jimmy will be on next week's SmackDown, given that he has made it clear that he is out of the Bloodline. Heyman clearly has a source close to Jimmy, close enough that they are sharing plans about the treacherous brother, but there's no clues at this time as to who that source is for Heyman. There's also the question as to what the future holds for Jey Uso, who quit WWE last week, and who do you think Heyman's source is? Give your predictions in the comments down below. The new WWE United States Champion Rey Mysterio was on this week's SmackDown, as he and Santos Escobar were the guests on the latest Grayson Waller effect. Waller wasted no time in trying to stir the pot, questioning if Escobar was mad at Rey for taking his spot in last week's US title match, but the LWO was having none of it. Escobar made it clear that the only person he's mad at is Austin Theory, who would also come out and demand a rematch for the US title, though that didn't happen as he hoped. Instead, LA Knight appeared to demand a match with Theory, with the winner earning a shot at Mysterio's title, and the match was approved by Adam Pearce. It wasn't long, however, before The Miz would join commentary, fulfilling a promise to appear on SmackDown, and had some choice words for Knight during his match. Laying into Knight as a flavor of the month, Miz called him Fandango without the top shoes, Eugene without the crayons, and added that he's the next Doink the Clown, not the next Rock. It was just a matter of time before Miz got involved in the match, ultimately costing Knight the match, meaning Theory will get a chance to regain the US title. Knight was once again one of the most over superstars on the show, but once again came up short when it mattered most, which some fans took issue with on social media. While many have compared Knight to The Rock, the Brahma Bull was actually booked to win high-profile matches. And do you think WWE got things wrong this week? Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair teamed together this week, and while this was a fine match, there was one spot that left fans worried for the worse. During the match, Bayley pushed Flair off the top turnbuckle to the outside, and as soon as Flair collided with the floor, the former women's champion immediately grabbed her ankle. Thankfully, it appears that Flair was okay after the match, which saw Bayley be pinned, but Io Sky still looks strong even in defeat. The big story after the match, though, is that during a backstage interview, Belair was ambushed by Damage Control, which included Dakota Kai, who targeted the injured knee of the EST. That knee proved to play a pivotal role during the SummerSlam Triple Threat match, and it looks like Belair has been written off of TV for the time being. During the segment, fans may have noticed some familiar faces come to the aid of Belair, as Jamie Noble made an on-screen appearance, as did Spirit Squad alum turned WWE producer Kenny Dykstra. We have to wonder where Shotzi was in all this, as she has had issues with Bayley, but was nowhere to be seen. But for now, don't expect Bianca Belair on TV going forward. SmackDown also saw the Street Profits in action in their first match since officially aligning themselves with Bobby Lashley. While the duo had all new ring gear, the Profits kept their original theme song and got a big win over Gallows and Anderson with their new double team finisher. WWE has been teasing a lot for the Profits over the past month or so, and what do you hope to see in the future for Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford now that they're aligned with Bobby Lashley? And we're ending today with Edge, as the Rated R Superstar had plenty to say after this week's SmackDown went off the air. Using a cane to help stand up after such a grueling main event, Edge spoke fondly about Sheamus, reiterating that the Irish Star, who he even called by his real name Steven, is the reason he got back in the ring. The fans were very appreciative for what the Great White did for Edge, and the Hall of Famer spoke up about growing up in Toronto and how his trainer agreed to give him wrestling lessons for free. Edge also revealed that his trainer, Ron Hutcherson, would go on to train Edge's future wife, Beth Phoenix, who Edge would praise at ringside, along with his daughters, Lyric and Ruby. Speaking about his future and the retirement rumors, Edge admitted that he doesn't know what's next, and will have to have a long discussion with his family about what they want. Edge did admit, though, that this was his last time competing in front of a Toronto crowd, so if he does wrestle again, his career will be over before the next time WWE comes to the city. Edge ended by thanking the crowd again, vowing to remember how special his last match in Toronto was, in a truly heartwarming moment for the crowd after this week's SmackDown.